You are listening to Productivity Straight Talk with your host, Amber De La Garza. Amber is a sought-after productivity coach, trainer, speaker, and writer who gives entrepreneurs the straight talk on personal productivity. No BS, fluff, or overused jargon. Just actionable strategies to get results and succeed in business. And here is your host, Amber De La Garza, the Productivity Specialist.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to Productivity Straight Talk. Today is episode 245. Lessons learned from slowing down. If you're a business owner who wants to improve your time management and elevate your productivity so you can maximize profits, reduce stress, and make time for what matters most, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you've joined me. Hey, I have missed you this summer, really missed you. And I want to catch you up and share some lessons that I learned. I'm going to pull back the curtains on how I spent my summer and discuss how my business and life were impacted when I made the intentional choice to slow down. And now let's get to the straight talk. Slowing down. What comes to mind when you hear me say slowing down? I'm certain it has many different meanings to different people. You may be thinking, oh yeah, I wish. I don't need to slow down. I need to go faster, harder, more. Slowing down means not reaching my goals. I have guilt if I slow down. How would I ever make that possible? Slowing down means being bored. What would I even do with my time if I slowed down? If I slow down, will I want to go back to normal? I can't afford to slow down. Those are just a sample of what could be racing through your mind at the thought of slowing down. And to be honest, I had many of those thoughts, and that is why I did it. I love my business and my clients. I appreciate working hard. I show up consistently. I enjoy a full, purposeful schedule. That is easy for me. But slowing down is uncomfortable and a challenge. I've gotten so much better at it over the last few years. Midday naps? Check. Several long weekends and vacations? Check. Half-day Fridays? Sure. But I knew I had an opportunity to grow and challenge myself. I was curious about what thoughts and beliefs I could work through by challenging myself to slow down. Now, when I ask you the same question again, but not to pull out the negative thoughts and beliefs, but to really answer the question for yourself, what does slowing down mean to you? Does it mean 4-day work weeks, less meetings, fewer clients, fewer projects, reading more, being in nature, watching movies, working out more, finding a new hobby, doing nothing at all, taking a class, taking naps, sleeping in, vacations, family time, dating yourself, your significant other, someone new, your kids, or even taking your dogs to the dog park. This is just a brief list to get you started thinking about what slowing down could look like for you. What does it mean to you? I first had the idea of slowing down for a long period of time on purpose after I reflected back on my own experience of being out of my business for 2 months last August and September because I got severely ill with COVID. You can hear more about that experience and the lessons learned in the episode 211, Update How My Business Survived in My Absence. So if you have not yet heard that and heard those lessons, I would highly recommend you take a listen to that episode. It was a bit life-changing. And one of the things I reflected back on was how could I slow down on purpose on my terms? I had a belief that I could not step away from my business for an extended length of time. I was not conscious of that belief until I had the opportunity to prove myself wrong. And the crazy part is, I realized I was making major life and business decisions based on that belief and I didn't even realize it. I didn't realize that I had that belief and that I was filtering my decision-making through it until last August and September, or rather reflecting back on last August and September. So I was curious about other deep beliefs I may have that are unknowingly showing up and impacting the way I run my business and life. And while I am sure we all have many deeply rooted beliefs, think money beliefs, success beliefs, gender role beliefs, beliefs in yourself, belief in others, how they can or will support you. Well, you get the point here. Beliefs are powerful and they absolutely affect our action and inaction in our business and life. The belief that kept coming up for me was slowing down would be bad for my business and uncomfortable. I knew I could reach my revenue goals, serve my clients exceptionally, lead my team. But could I do that and slow down? That was something I wanted to explore and hopefully prove I could. To be able to say yes to slowing down and trying that out on my life, it meant saying no to a bunch of other things. Here's what I said no to so that I could say yes to slowing down. Working less. My normal 35-hour work week went down to 3 6-hour days a week. Max, sometimes even less. I moved or turned down meetings, saying no or asking if the end of August, September could work for all non-time sensitive meeting requests. Think podcast interviews, maybe even collaborations or chatting for coffee. I just gracefully declined or asked if we could schedule it at the end of August, September. I deferred all large optional business projects in my business. And this was a first. We are usually running projects all the time in addition to running the business. And I want you to think projects like promotions, new offerings, marketing strategies. All of those are opportunities or projects in which I would have created the timeline and deadlines for, and I deferred them all until the fall. I said no to all speaking requests during this time. This is something that we actually had to think about as far back as last March because people ask you to speak and attend events so many months in advance. And I knew not clearly and not what it would look like absolutely this summer, but I definitely knew I wasn't wanting to travel for speaking or have any big speaking events on my calendar, which require a lot of preparation. So we started saying no or asking for different dates that would be available for me to do those. I said no to business conferences. I didn't sign up for any business conferences. I generally love attending business conferences in the summer, and this summer I passed. I paused this podcast. Right? So Productivity Straight Talk for the first time in 5 years, except for last August and September when I was out ill, this is the first time I purposely paused the podcast. Imagine your favorite TV show going for 5 years straight. Like it doesn't happen. They have seasons. And I had never really looked at the podcast through that lens. I just kept going. And once I was able to realize I could totally take a purposeful break this summer and resume back again, that was one of the things that bought back a lot of time. I declined a packed schedule for my son. And what I mean by that is that there are truly so many opportunities to fill a summer schedule with camps and summer classes and sports and other activities, which all demand a lot of time and energy and travel and planning. And this summer, my husband, my son, and myself decided that we were all opting into this slower paced, kind of chill summer. And that was really helpful that we were all on the same page of how to find enjoyment in ways that did not include filling up our schedule. So those are the things that I had to say no to. Saying no to all those things really freed up my time to do whatever I wanted, which was to live a life at a slower pace and not stick to a structured schedule 5 days a week. So, what did I do for 3 months? All right, here's what I did. First and foremost, lots of family time. We watched lots and lots of movies. My son is 12, and so this summer, my husband and I let him watch all of our oldies but goodies. I want you to think not kid movies. And for all of you parents out there that have little kids struggling through the little kid shows and movies, just wait until they get about 12. That was super fun to show him what some of our favorite movies are. We went hiking out in nature. We had lots of barbecues. We even played video games, which is a favorite pastime of my son and my husband's, but certainly not mine. So the boys actually found me my old school Super Mario Brothers 3 and Tetris. So I went and played along with them. Sitting out on the patio, doing absolutely nothing, just enjoying the patio, the dogs playing, my turtle, just enjoying doing nothing at all. I dreamt of what the future could look like and feel like. So a lot of vision casting, a lot of asking myself, what is it that I want? What is it that I want to create? What is it that I want to experience in my business and life? I took up a bit of journaling. I had more massages than usual. I did more yoga, more sleep, and lots of naps. I binged Netflix. Just ask me. I can give you a list of good shows, bad shows. Also did a bit of binging on true crime. Think TV shows, documentaries, podcasts. I love me some true crime. I cooked more. And this was a big one because whether I like it or not, I cook, right? Like the family needs to eat and we like to eat healthy and not eat out all the time. And so part of this experiment was, how can I find more joy in cooking? And so I realized I wasn't finding joy because it felt so mundane and routine. And after working all day, it was like, what can I get out on the table? So while things slowed down, I took the opportunity to learn at least 2 new recipes a week. And we found lots of winners to throw into the rotation. Our entire family got facials for the first time. Yes, my husband and son. It was their first, and of course myself, which was really cool kind of family experience. They said yes because mom booked them, but I think we'll be doing it again for sure. I batched Productivity Straight Talk podcasts and social media content through the end of the year. And that feels really, really good because we've never taken any kind of lengthy pause. While we like to stay ahead, we're never as ahead as I would like to be on the podcast. And we were really able to, and I say we, meaning Crystal and I, my content manager, were able to invite guests, do batch interviews, plan out all solo episodes, titles, outlines, and then I got ahead on recording, and thus the team got ahead on production, which I think will be a huge gift that I will keep getting a return on through the end of the year. I experimented. So we had a new project in the business, and that was the Accidental Business Owner podcast. And if you're not aware of that, we did do a limited series podcast this summer, and I considered it an experiment. And the experiment did not go as planned. So if you want to hear more about that, you can definitely search up or go to my website, amberdelagarza.com. Click on podcasts in the menu, and you can listen to the 6-episode limited series on lessons on how to be a business owner, but also what I learned with regards to this experiment. This experiment really didn't work for a few reasons, one business-wise, but also I realized that it was fighting for energy and attention. It wasn't in alignment with my bigger goal of slowing down. And so that had a lot to do with the decision making as well. So you can definitely hear more about that at the Accidental Business Owner podcast. What else did I do? I learned and tried new things. So what did I try new? Well, I adopted a desert tortoise and learned all the things about being a turtle mom. I built a home for him. I learned what he likes, what he doesn't like, what are his routines, how to take care of him. And that's been a really fun adventure. I did indoor houseplants. Now, this is something experimented and something that also challenged some limiting beliefs in the sense that I truly had the belief and honestly, tons of positive proof that I couldn't keep plants alive. But I love them and I'm addicted to them and they are everywhere in my house now. And I just smile and they're alive and they're happy. And so now I have a new hobby because I was willing to try something that I was not so good at before again. The family went whitewater rafting, which was amazing. In fact, we were planning our next whitewater rafting as we were coming down the mountain. Cannot wait for that. I tried some alcohol ink painting, bought all the supplies and dabbled with that. I took up mixology. This was a favorite of mine. I took a class, I read books, I watched YouTube videos, and now I have voted myself the designated bartender at all family events. So mixology has been a fun little hobby thing to learn about. And then I also dug deeper, and this is a hobby and interest that my husband and I share. So we learned more about cryptocurrency, Web 3.0. We also learned more about the world economy and politics and how that all interrelates, diving deeper, reading, talking, discussions, which was really cool. And then you know what else I did that I did something new? I went to the movies for the first time by myself. First time ever. Maybe you've done it, not a big deal. For me, I've never done that. And I liked it. I'm definitely going to be doing it again. I also went for a long drive by myself with no destination in mind, which was also a first time. Because of course, why would you not have a destination and a reason for going for a long drive? And I thought, I wonder if I would just enjoy it. I kind of love my car. I kind of love going fast. And so I just took a long drive and enjoyed the music and the scenery and the quiet. And again, something that I had never done before when I wasn't slowing down and asking myself what brings me joy. And I will also be doing that again. And then right now, I'm currently learning all about greenhouse gardening. I want to build a greenhouse in my backyard, as well as growing fruit trees in Las Vegas. Yes. People say that it is possible to actually grow fruit trees in Las Vegas, and I'm going to give that a shot. We want an avocado tree, a lime tree, a lemon tree, and an orange tree to start out with. And so that's what I'm currently kind of navigating and learning and getting ready to pull the trigger on getting set up in our backyard. So look, that was my slowdown. That's what I did for 3 months. But what's really important is talking to you about the lessons I learned from slowing down. Because I wanted to challenge myself to slow down, because I realized there was this underlying limited belief, I believe that that's true for many of you listening. And the lessons that I learned are why I did this. This experiment was for myself, but it's also that I wanted to journey through this so that I could be a better coach, that I could teach you from experience and understand that sometimes we're making decisions. Sometimes, maybe oftentimes, we're making decisions because of something that we fear. And so I really wanted to understand that and be able to teach you and encourage you that maybe you are busying your schedule. Maybe you are choosing things that feel like they're urgent, or creating opportunities to be over busy because you want to avoid slowing down and what that means. So let me share with you the lessons I learned from slowing down. First, I want to say it started out very uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable not having a schedule. I was so not on schedule that I even missed my own massage appointment. No, like really, like I don't miss appointments. And I was so off of a schedule that I was laying in bed, relaxing, ending the day, and forgot that I scheduled a late Friday night massage appointment. Totally missed it. And so that was a lesson learned on how structure serves me and lack of structure creates some consequences. And I just thought it was like really ironic that I missed my own massage appointment because I was getting used to not looking at my calendar and not having such a structured schedule. It was really uncomfortable having the freedom to do whatever I wanted and have to make the decision instead of leaning into the urge to go back into my office and work because that tendency is so ingrained in me. And I want to explain that. When you have the freedom to do whatever you want, there's a lot of decision making and it's a lot of deciding what you want to do, which takes some energy and some thought. Whereas you could, in those moments, default to the things that you know and that are comfortable for you. And so for me, when I was pulling back, it's a Monday at noon and I'm not working, I could have easily gone back into my office because I know what to do. I feel good feelings from it. I enjoy what I do. And so it was really uncomfortable. And I really had to be aware at the pull of doing what was comfortable versus the push to do what was uncomfortable. Uncomfortable became my new normal within a month of slowing down, and it felt good. And so I guess what I'm trying to say here is like I got comfortable being uncomfortable, which is a feeling that I would have normally avoided to go back with things that I felt super comfortable or excelled in or structure. And so I just leaned into what does that feel like and does it need to be labeled as a negative feeling for me? Now, uncomfortable might mean speeding back up into my own like old normal life in the fall, right? Like I'm not sure. We're just easing into that. But what if I got so comfortable slowing down that now going back to a regular schedule felt uncomfortable? Well, we will see. We will navigate that. Another lesson, I actually enjoy cooking. So I shared with you earlier that I really do not enjoy cooking, but when I have the time to plan and try new things and start early, meaning not being rushed after the end of the workday, I truly learned that I could enjoy cooking. So I believe that will serve me well since I do a lot of cooking to change my mindset around the cooking and realizing what pieces I didn't like and change that and realizing what pieces I do like about cooking and do more of that. It was wise of me to communicate my goals and intentions for the summer with my team because we were all on the same page about a lighter workload. So I communicated my needs and my desires, like what that vision looked like. And then I worked with my team to create that. Like, what does that look like specifically? What decisions needed to be made? What boundaries needed to be had so that I could really enjoy slowing down, but also having my team feel supported and getting what they need. Also, lesson learned, planning months ahead of time for the new summer schedule was essential. In fact, that was a major reason why I was successful. I'm so glad we took the time to reschedule meetings and appointments and really thinking of this in a sense of what I needed to say no to, what did I want to create with my schedule? So how did we land on, 3 work days? All of that was strategized ahead of time so that it felt easy during the summer. I also learned that I can sprinkle in new hobbies and passions into my schedule without having to really cut back on my schedule. And that's really big because I don't want to live just for the weekends. I don't want to live just for the next vacations. I don't think I do that. I really don't feel that I do that because I enjoy my work so much. But I did realize that it would be really easy to sprinkle in some of these newfound joys and hobbies into the work week so that it just feels more balance both personal enjoyment and business enjoyment for me. I also learned that I don't need to push hard year round in my business for it to do well and reach our goals. This is huge. I believe this was one of the biggest underlying beliefs that I may have had that I had to prove wrong. And that is that I am a natural pusher, right? Like I naturally am always going after the next goal. And I say natural meaning that's who I am. That's how I think. Like that's what's worked for me. And so what's the opposite? Does the opposite mean that if I'm not pushing and working, towards running towards the next goal, that I wouldn't meet it? And this was amazing to find out that I certainly did not need to push hard year round in the business for us to reach our goals. Also, based on the lessons learned this summer and the schedule that I was able to work, I know that my fall schedule is going to be look completely different than it would have if I did not do this experiment this summer. I've already worked out my new fall schedule, and there is to include that I am not going back to 35 hours a week. I will do about 30 hours a week. The time that I get off is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to have more flex Fridays. This is all because I know what my capacity is and I know what I can do in the amount of time that I want to invest in the business right now in this season. And I mean right now in this season, meaning this season of my business, and this season meaning the fall season this year. And that is open to change. There may be a time that I want to go back to 40 hours or 35 hours, but really allowing myself to ask myself what feels right, what feels good. I purposely prioritize my personal goal of more quality family time over my business goals. My husband was home for the summer by choice. My son was home out of school, and we wanted to take full advantage of that. And I love the results of that choice. We had lots of bonding time, shared memories, really got to do this together, and I would say it was completely worth it. I also didn't learn this, but I'll say that I was reminded that I could trust my team. It's something I already knew, but at the end of the summer, I can tell you I trust my team. They definitely got shit done, even though I was less available. They were accountable and very supportive. I also learned that when you have a deeply rooted belief that's impacting your life, challenging it to see if it's even true is totally worth the uncomfortable. It's totally worth it because from this point forward, I have looked at that belief, I have challenged that belief, and no longer will that be a belief that is changing the trajectory of my business and life based on decisions that I'm making or action or inaction. And once again, I was reminded how much investing in my business and training my team can pay off. Prior to slowing down, I had established clear client boundaries, team boundaries, created business systems with SOPs, delegated tasks and projects, held trainings, created operational efficiency. These are all things that were already in place in my business just to run a business that I believe is a healthy, efficient, effective business. But also the reward was that those investments that have been made in my business in past years allowed for this to feel incredibly easy, slowing down. Because I couldn't even imagine, had I tried to slow down as much as I did, I would think that it would feel like a lot was broken, or at least bubble it up where it would feel like it was in my face broken if I didn't already have these things in place. Again, things like clear boundaries with clients, clear boundaries with my team, business systems, that my team knew what they needed to do, when they needed to do it, what projects they were working on, training my team, creating just overall operational efficiency. And these are all things that I coach my clients on, either privately coach them or inside Leverage Lab. Those are the things that have this like recurring return on investment. And I can tell you that I got to experience that return on investment this summer as I got to slow down with my family. So, my question for you is, how can you slow down too? How can you choose to slow down in a way that feels right for you? And here are some of my tips. First, define what slowing down looks like and feels like to you. That's why I asked that question at the top of this episode. My version of slowing down looks different than maybe your version. I had started slowing down in different ways years ago in my business. This was a drastic slowdown. So for you, this might look like taking every other Friday off, or taking Fridays off, or taking a class in the mornings on a Wednesday. What are you willing to do to define for yourself? Take that time to define for yourself what slowing down looks and feels like. And then once you've defined it, claim what you want. Decide, be clear, and communicate your intentions to those that need to know. Those that need to know may be your team, your clients, your family, yourself. But only once you've defined it, then you can claim it and you can clearly communicate it, can you make slowing down your reality. I want you to identify what you can't say no to. I'm going to say that one more time. Identify what you can't say no to. What are your business non-negotiables? And so for me, it was my private coaching clients, Leverage Lab, and meeting with my team. That's what we started with to find out what essentially needs to be my minimum time in the business to keep everything supported, because I was going to show up for my business non-negotiables. What are your business non-negotiables? Next, identify what you will say no to so that you can say yes to slowing down. I shared with you what my list was, and I guarantee you're going to have to say no to something to say yes to slowing down. If you already feel like you're at max capacity or that you don't have the available time to slow down, it's going to require you to say no to something so you can say yes. Do not think all or nothing. Okay, so you can start small. Like I said earlier, you can start small by taking a half day off or just an hour. This does not need to be like, oh, I'm working 60 hours, I'm going down to 20. This could be gradually slowing down until you get to your ideal slow down vision of success, right? Like, what does that look like? Doesn't need to be how you take action on it on day one. So start small. Challenge yourself to go get a massage during the week, maybe go for a hike before you start your work day. Sprinkle these things in so that you are on your own journey to having the business life balance that you desire. Next, plan to do nothing. No, I'm serious. Like, plan to do nothing. Yes, I said it. Give yourself permission not to do anything. Boredom can even positively impact your business. In fact, according to neuroscientist Alicia Wolf, boredom can actually foster creative ideas, refilling your dwindling reservoir, replenishing your work mojo, and providing an incubation period for embarking on new work ideas, new strategies. And I think she's on to something, because really letting yourself slow down so much that you have nothing planned for time will allow your mind to wander and create and be inspired. So let's recap. In today's episode, I pulled back the curtains on how I spent my summer and my choices to challenge my belief that slowing down would be negative and uncomfortable. I let you in on how slowing down impacted my business and how I will choose to continue slowing down as desired in the future. And I want the same for you. I have loved having you listen to this episode of Productivity Straight Talk, and I sure hope you found today's episode to be valuable, but I need to be straight with you. No change, no change. Without taking action, nothing will change for you and your business. And in today's episode, I pulled back the curtains to show you what action I took, what that journey was to really, really slow down, because that is something that I craved for myself this summer. That might not be the same thing that you crave for yourself and your business. But what I would invite you to question and ask is, are you craving any type of slowdown at all from your current pace? And if so, what action will you take to see a change? How can you start to live out your own version of slowing down? And before we close out, I wanted to let you know that I would love the opportunity to work with you. If you are interested in working with me privately to level up your business, I invite you to schedule a discovery call. Together, we'll determine if we're a great fit to work together and identify how I can best help you achieve your goals. If you have loved what you have been able to listen to here at Productivity Straight Talk, if you're getting valuable insights and tips and strategies, just imagine what impact that could have working with me privately in your business. How much deeper could we go? How much more accountability would there be? How much self-discovery and clarity can you get about what you want so that you can take action to create the business you desire? Just head on over to amberdelagarza.com/call so we can schedule a call to discover how I may best help you and your business. So that's my straight talk for today. Until next time, have a productive week.